Hello. If you clicked on this video, it's likely because you just dove straight in to the world of being a color art director. My name is Ashley and I've been teaching for over 10 years. I wanted to make this video to pass along some things that I really felt like that you should know if you don't already. And so if you're interested, I'm gonna get ready while I do this and let's just jump right in. You wanna start off with your why, okay? You have to do a lot of like deep down digging. Usually, for most of us, it's not just a topical answer. I think for some of us, it takes a lot of thinking about this subject to really get there. And the reason why I start with this one is because when things get tough, and they will, you want to fall back on why you decided to put yourself through this to begin with, right? Like, it's not an easy job, it doesn't pay well, but for most of us that do it, we do it for the reward. And everyone's got a little bit of a different answer. Some people come to their answer a little easier than others, and that's okay. I think it's a very personal journey, and you just kind of have to figure that out for yourself. So number one, figure out what your why is. Number two, you want to think about what your goals are going to be for the season. Where are your students right now? Where do you want them to be by the end of football season? Where do you want them to be by the time winter guard season is over? You know, you can even do like a halfway point through each of those seasons to just kind of make sure you're moving in the direction that you want to go in. It's all about being an intentional director. Now, you could easily just show up and do things by the seat of your pants, but I think it helps a lot if we have a clear direction on where we want to go. And it's not going to be a straight path to get there, but anytime we veer off path, we just always have to come back to, okay, what is it that we're trying to attain? Why are we trying to attain it? And how are we going to get there? And that way, when you check in on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, you can always come back to your goals. How are we doing? You know, it's a great way to measure, I guess. So having clear goals and I should be specific and mention they need to be realistic goals. So you don't want to set something that's going to be unrealistic and set yourself up for failure, but you also want to push yourself and make sure that you are going to do something that is going to be challenging. So really think about that and think, okay, do I think I can do this by the end of the season or the end of the year? And that way you give yourself some push, but you're not going to overdo it and then be disappointed at the end. I should also add that you have to keep track of them too. You can't just set goals and then have your season and then like just forget about them. Then what's the point? So making sure that you check in every couple of weeks or once a month or however you see fit is a good idea. Tip number three is you want to get organized. If you're anything like me, I love a nice planner at the beginning of the school year. I love all things office supplies, school supplies, journaling, scrapbooking. I love the stickers and stuff. And I think getting exciting about your planner system, it changes the experience of planning, I guess you could say. It makes planning that much more fun and enjoyable. Not that any of us need a reason to make planning fun, because some of us are freaks like that. Comment down below if that's you. You want to have an outline of how the year is going to go. That way, along with the goal planning, you can work with these dates alongside your goals. So let's say your first game is the first Friday after Labor Day. So you want to make sure, okay, we have all of movement 1 choreographed and filled in by then. And then we have our first competition by the first week of October. So we want to make sure that we're choreographing in an efficient manner so that we have everything, or at least 2/3 or most of the show done by the first competition. And if you're a new director, a lot of times at the first competition, people don't have on their third movement, and like they don't have it choreographed. They might do a standstill or something. So that's something that you would want to talk with your band director about. I know my band director, he was super understanding and realistic about where we were depending on the point in the season. And a lot of times the first competition, maybe we didn't have the third movement completely filled in, and that was okay. You have to be realistic with your expectations. It's just helpful to see like a huge overview of how busy you're gonna be, when everything is gonna be, when the rehearsals are, if you're juggling more than one school and you're doing 2 plus maybe an independent, or maybe you march kind of thing. Color coordinating and knowing, okay, I'm gonna be here on these days at these times. That way you don't end up being unprofessional and not staying on top of your stuff as a performer or as a director. So I think that's key, is just being organized and seeing everything laid out. On top of that, it's really a useful tool to keep track of kids' birthdays, or if you know like, oh, so-and-so is going to be at a soccer game that day, or this person's going to be out of town on a family vacation, or what have you. All of that is in one place. You just dump your brain out into your calendar so that you don't have to force yourself to memorize everything on top of trying to choreograph a show that's going to get you the points you need so that you can do well. The next thing is to build relationships. This is super important, and I knew it was important to build relationships with my students, obviously, and my colleagues too, but something that I have kind of learned in the later parts of my teaching career, or in the more recent, I should say, is you want to make sure you're building rapport with the community around you at the school and the parents of the students. So if making sure that you know who the assistant principal over fine arts is, and making sure you introduce yourself to the principal. Maybe they show up at a football game and you introduce yourself, and you can even in some instances make an appointment to chat with them. Well, you don't want to take up a lot of their time because they're busy, but even if something great happens, maybe you have a really great rehearsal, you can kind of send them a photo or a picture of an update and just let them know, hey, this is what our little corner of the school is up to, and I just wanted to bring this to your attention. I'm super proud of them, and I just wanted to pass on the positivity, just so that you know. And so, especially if they're the fine arts director or the principal, it's good for them to know about all of the kids that they are responsible for. So they make their job a little easier by kind of doing little things like that. Having a relationship with parents is so important because you need their help as much as possible. Whether it's grabbing snacks, having an arrangement for meals, maybe going out to help get certain props, or building props, or taking measurements. What is it when you like tailor, fix costumes so that they fit correctly, or sew flags? That's not really a thing anymore. Back in my day, we used to cut the pattern and the mom would sew it. But nowadays, you just like print everything, mostly. Anyway, things like that. Having a community around you that will help support your students both inside of the activity, but also having that relationship with them so that, let's say, if you have a student and they get in trouble, they get grounded at home, and you find out that they are not going to come to a rehearsal the day before a game because they're grounded, then maybe you call up that parent, and if you already have a relationship with them, then it makes it so much easier for you to like have a chat with them and level with them a little bit. Hey, I understand that so-and-so got in trouble and this is their discipline, but I was hoping you would reconsider and maybe we can meet in the middle somewhere, because pulling them away from our rehearsal, it hurts the entire team. You know, what is your goal here? How can I help you facilitate the goal without it hurting our goals over here? So just being mindful of how much relationships can help you. Oh, the most important people, arguably, like right up there with parents, the custodians, and like the front office staff. They do a lot of like the paperwork stuff that gets you paid. The custodians open up doors. They help you just make sure you can get into places that you likely don't have access to because you're not a full-time teacher on campus. Probably some of you are, but having their help to get into the spaces you need to get to when you don't have a key is a godsend. Tip number 5, setting a consistent warm-up routine. Okay, moving right along here. So having a consistent warm-up routine is just, kids need routine, they need structure, and it also helps us if we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we go into a rehearsal. So if you just have to think about what's important to you in your program, make sure you always have a equipment and movement warm-up that you do every single time. I would usually have a longer one for longer rehearsals, like think camps, things like that, where the rehearsal hours are longer. And then I would have like an abbreviated version for if we only have an hour of rehearsal or something like that. So let's say we do like our longer warm-up during band camp. Once school sets in and we only rehearse for an hour and some change, I don't remember, and warm-up time gets cut down quite a bit, then I would just kind of filter through the different sections of the warm-up throughout the week and turn that into a routine. You can do it that way, or you can just do the same exact routine every single time. You can like keep a core set of warm-ups that you always do and then have one that you kind of rotate out. Maybe like, you know, leaps and turns is something that you might rotate, because I don't know how often you would use that in your choreography, who knows. But having a set routine for warm-ups is key. It helps build their technical skills, and it helps give them a sense of rhythm, what to expect, and they need that, they crave that. Also, if you happen to need to go do something, you need to deal with a student, a parent, you need to run and do this real quick, you're running late, your leaders can run rehearsal for you because you've given that routine to them. If you found this video helpful and you want to help me help other directors, like, share, subscribe, and comment down below what you thought was really helpful. But liking it really helps other people find this video so that they can get these helpful tips as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.